guys, it's Dana and it's time to talk about money. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the 50-year mortgage and how that may sound helpful, but in reality, it may not be. Okay, so recently, President floated the idea of a 50-year mortgage, and that might have you excited. Maybe you are looking for a home and housing prices are super high and interest rates are high, and you just feel as if there's no way you could make the monthly payment, or you know someone who is house hunting and they're really struggling to find a home, especially if it's your first home. It's extremely daunting and depressing when you're trying to find a place and you just feel as if you can't find anything that you can afford. So you might be in that situation, and the idea of a 50-year mortgage and the idea of having a lower monthly payment for a home that is equally priced sounds attractive to you. You're thinking, well, then maybe we can get it. Then we can afford to buy a home with a 50-year mortgage because our monthly payments would be so much lower. So we'd be able to pay for it. But it's not just about the monthly payment. So we have to look at it in the long term and how much money you're actually spending on your home. So if you were to purchase a $300,000 home and you had a 30-year mortgage, then your monthly payment would be about $1,900 per month. And the total interest that you would pay on that loan is $387,000. And the total cost of the home after the 30 years would be $687,000. So you have the purchase price plus the interest you pay over those 30 years. If you were to buy a $300,000 home with a 50-year mortgage, then your monthly payment would be lower. It would be $1,700 a month. So you'd be saving about $200 a month that you wouldn't have to pay. But over the lifetime of those 50 years, you would be paying total interest $720,000 for a total cost of that home ending up being $1,020,000. Okay, like that is crazy to me. Like that. So your $300,000 house after 50 years, you would have paid $1 million for that home. So you can't think of it just in terms of the monthly payment, whereas yes, that $200 that you'd be saving there, maybe you feel like that would be more affordable, you'd actually be able to pay for it, but you're paying a lot more for the total cost of that home if you go with a 50-year mortgage, okay? So, you're not just paying for the house, you're paying for that house and another house, maybe like 4 houses is what you're paying in total for that one house that you were buying, okay? And you're paying it to the bank. It's that all that money is just going to the bank in interest. So a 50-year mortgage is definitely going to stretch into a lifetime bill. It's just never going to go away, which means it's probably going to delay your other investments. You're not going to invest in retirement because you're paying for your house. You're going to delay building savings. Okay, so if you're thinking to yourself, the only way I can afford a home is with a lower payment, then maybe you need to be asking yourself some other questions such as, is that the right house for you? Is this the right market? Maybe you want to wait for the market to change where housing prices come down a little bit. Maybe you can adjust location. So these are some questions you can ask yourself. All right. So instead, what you can do is you can expand your search radius. Look outside of where you're searching. Maybe the next town over, 2 towns over. Maybe you can live in a different area where housing is more affordable, because there are more affordable towns other than what maybe you're looking in. I like to watch World According to Briggs. He's got a YouTube channel, and he does videos about more affordable areas, towns, states where you can live for less. And so maybe do a little research and see if there's another location that you can buy to start to become a homeowner at a much lower price. Consider smaller square footage. I always tell the kids I actually really prefer smaller homes. I think they're easier to clean, they're cozier, I think that they're more intimate. You probably talk more to your family members because you're together. I shared a room growing up, my kids share a bedroom. I just think that I actually prefer smaller homes. If you have a larger home, you're just going to fill it with more stuff. And then all that more stuff is something that eventually someone else is going to have to deal with and going to have to take all that stuff and bring it to Goodwill. So I just prefer a smaller smaller house. So maybe look for something that doesn't have quite so much square footage, or not as many bedrooms, or what have you. And so that will help bring the price down for sure. Focus on boosting your savings and reducing your other debts before going and buying a home. That way, if you can get rid of some debts, that's some monthly payments that you can get out of your life, and then you'll have more money to put towards your home and your mortgage payment. Usually the winter months housing prices are lower than they are in the spring or summer. And so maybe you want to shop in a different season where, and definitely track it, be checking Zillow every week or every month and see what the prices are, and watch that seasonality and see if you can hit buying a home during a time period like when no one else wants to go look. So if there's a snowstorm or, it's been really bad weather, people don't generally want to get out and go to open houses or go look at houses. So you might end up getting a break on a home that you wouldn't necessarily have gotten if you were shopping in the spring or summer. Also, when you are purchasing a house, try to look for the ugly duckling. If you are home shopping and you're in the market, then try to look for something that nobody else really wants. And actually, both the houses I bought were in this category where no one else really, it was like kind of messy, just needed to be cleaned up, needed to be repainted. There was, curtains that were maybe not so pretty, like things that other people would be like, ooh, I don't want that house. But cosmetic things that you can definitely clean up. So don't overlook. And a lot of people do. If it's not staged, they have trouble visualizing their own furniture in it or how it can look. So try to bring someone with you if you're not that good at it. Bring someone with you who can maybe help you to visualize what you could do with it and make that house more attractive. I actually love to do that. I love to envision things that you can do with a house or with a yard. So try to find someone who can help you out with that, because then you'll get a better price if you can purchase an ugly duckling home. Consider shared living or multi-generational living. Lots of people now are, living with family members or friends. You can if you can go, maybe you're going to purchase the home, but you're going to have people living there with you who can help you to make your mortgage payment. That's not a bad idea, and more people are doing that. So something to consider. Focus on increasing your down payment. The more money you have saved that you can put for your down payment, then the lower that monthly payment will be, because you're not borrowing as much money. So really try to beef up your down payment savings. Focus on improving your credit score. If you try not to be delinquent on anything, try to make sure you're paying everything on time, and obviously you're trying to attack debt, get it out of your life. But if you can improve your credit score, it will help you have a lower interest rate. So if you want to take some time to clean that up, try to be very careful and be on time with all your payments, so that way there's nothing on your credit report that's going to cause any kind of issues. And be sure that you're checking your credit report at least once a year to make sure there's nothing on there that shouldn't be, which I highly recommend doing that. I tend to do it every December, actually. But, once a year you can go in and get a free credit report and make sure that everything on there is legit and looks right. And then you even know your score, so you know what's going on there. Something to do that my sister had done, which I thought was super smart, was she rented in the area before she bought a house. So if you have never lived in a certain location before, then definitely try to rent there for a while first. Then you can be sure what neighborhoods, what streets are good, where you want to buy, so you don't end up purchasing a home in a bad area or a place that's inconvenient. So if you are researching different towns, maybe you want to go and do your search, figure out which towns you might want to live in that are more affordable, and then rent there for a little bit so you can really get a feel for the area. And then have some patience. I'd say patience is key. Renting is patience. That's what you're doing when you rent, is you are buying patience. You are building up your savings as best you can, improving your credit score, waiting for prices to drop. Maybe you're hunting for a better area. Maybe you're waiting for your income to improve. So you're working on building your income so you make more money, doing your side hustles, what have you, because the more you can boost your income, of course, also will help you to afford a house. So patience is really important, and don't be afraid to have some and just take a little time. There's no have to. There's no required timeline for purchasing a home. It's not because you got married now you have to buy a house, or because you're having a baby you have to have a house. We lived in an apartment with our first baby, and I actually wish we had lived there longer in the apartment. I think maybe we rushed into buying a house sooner than we really should have, but there's really no should haves when it comes to purchasing a home. It's when it's right for you and your situation and your partner and your family and your income level and your debt level. All those things are factors, and try not to compare to others. And it's okay to be taking it a little slower and doing it on your own timeline. So I asked you guys what you thought of a 50-year mortgage, and 74% of you said it was not worth it, that you don't want debt any longer. So let me know down below in the comments what you think of a 50-year mortgage. Would you consider it? Is that something that you are considering if it does become a reality? And if it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Okay.